Chattanooga Whiskey Bottled and Bond Vintage Series, 4 years old, 4 mash bills, 100 proof Tennessee High Malt. I'm excited to tell you guys about this one and taste it. What's up, folks? I am Jason C, and welcome back to The Mash and Drum. Last week, Chattanooga Whiskey announced the first release of their Bottled and Bond Vintage Series, the Spring 2017 release, which is also a permanent addition to the Chattanooga lineup. Take a closer look. Okay, so Bottled and Bond bourbon, as you may or may not know, must be a product of one distillation season, one distiller from one distillery, aged in a federally bonded warehouse for at least 4 years, and bottled at 100 proof. Now, as I mentioned, this is a permanent addition to the Chattanooga lineup. In 2021, we'll see 2 releases, this Spring 2017 and also a Fall 2017 vintage release, each using 4 distinctive mash bills in the blends. Now, Chattanooga made themselves distinct by using a high malt mash bill in their bourbons. It is crafted using 4 of those high malt mash bills, all made within the same distilling season, each composed of at least 25% specialty malted grains. Now, what I always thought was really cool about Chattanooga is they're very transparent and they tell you exactly what mash bills are included in the blend. Now, the Spring 2017 vintage includes batch 1, batch 4, batch 5, and a special barrel called barrel number 55, all that, comprises together to create this blend. Now, the upcoming Fall 2017 vintage will use all of them except that batch 1. Instead, it will use SB091 or Barrel 91 in the blend, all having their own unique flavors and traits. So for my own transparency with you guys, this bottle was sent to me and provided by Chattanooga Whiskey, which I want to thank them. They also sent me this cool tasting kit of all of those distilled mash bills on their own, which you see in these cool little sample bottles. So I can try their singular components. So I'm gonna run through the 4 mash bills included in the spring vintage to see if they fit their notes that provided here in the tasting kit, which is right here. Maybe we can get a better idea of what, makes this whiskey what it is. All right, so the first whiskey comprised in this blend is batch 1. And it says this was released in August 2017. Tasting notes, dried fruit and spice. And that's crazy fruity. A lot of red berries. A lot of cinnamon too. So it's all cinnamon and spice. Cinnamon spice with that big punch of red fruit. It's very Christmassy. Let's take a sip. Wow, that thing tastes like a Christmas candle. That is just cinnamon, cranberry. Yeah, it's like tart like a cranberry. Almost like a evergreen note to it. A lot of honey. Honey, I think, is kind of like the biggest note I get with Chattanooga stuff. All right. Next is batch 4. Now, batch 4 was released on March 2018, and this says tasting notes, earthy, smoke, toasted oats, and honey. So toasted oats and honey is generally like I said, the one big note I usually get from Chattanooga with that high malt. Oh yeah, I definitely get the smoky in here. Big punch of smoke. The honey is definitely there, but the smoky characteristic is definitely what makes this one different. I mean, wildly different from batch 1. Yeah, this is all, my goodness. It even has like a little bit of a strawberry bubblegum note to it. Interesting. All right, let's go back to the smoky. Oh my God, that is all campfire. It's super smoky. Yeah, it's got like this charred oak, like you get the inside of a charred barrel, a little bit of chocolate. Definitely the honey is there. These two, so batch 1 and batch 4, vastly different. All right, batch 5. So this is released March 2018. This says butterscotch and pastry. So if it tastes like this or tastes like that, I'm gonna be a very happy guy, because you guys know butterscotch and butter pecan are my favorite notes in bourbon. Yeah, I could see the butterscotchiness. Oh yeah, that is butterscotchy. I don't think it's butter pecan, but it's definitely butterscotchy a little bit here. All right, let's go for a taste. Yeah, it's butterscotch, but there's a very like salty characteristic. I'm getting that one too, like salted, maybe salted caramel, salted butterscotch. There's something very salty about that one as well. Not in a bad way. It's not like sucking the moisture out of my palate or anything, but yeah, there's a salty note to it that to go along with the butterscotch. Man, one more sip of that one. That's crazy. It's interesting to see how these components are going to work in this Bottled & Bond blend. All right, last but not least, Barrel 55. So Barrel 55 says tasting notes of chocolate and brown sugar. Let's see what we got. Yeah, there's definitely brown sugar in here. A lot of brown sugar. Get a hint of maple syrup too. I could see where you get a little hint of chocolate there, but it's more on the brown sugar side. I mean, this is like a lot of brown sugar. All right, let's try this one. All right, I get more of the chocolate on the palate rather than the nose. The chocolate is very rich on the palate. The brown sugar is there, but it's like the brown sugar really punches you in the face on the nose, and the chocolate is all on the palate. Very interesting combination of flavors, all vastly different. Now, to make this, they blended all four of these. So let's try the Bottled & Bond. All right, let's open this up. Nice pop. Okay. So the Spring 2017 release Bottled & Bond is bottled at 100 proof, as you guys know. I think I just saw some on sealbox.com. This is starting to roll out now with a retail price of about 50 bucks. So very similar to, you know, the 111 cask, which we will compare to in a bit. But let's see how all those blends came together and see what we got in this glass and see if we could pick out some of those components here. Wow, so I get the smoke from that one batch, and then I also get the cranberry and the fruitiness from I think the first one, which is batch 1. Yeah, it almost has like a finished bourbon aspect to it. It's very fruity. That spice is coming through, the cinnamon. You still get like that nice honey, that really deep, rich honey characteristic from a Chattanooga. That cranberry note still coming through a little bit. A lot of cinnamon. This whole like cranberry, cinnamon, honey, like toasty, you know, on the nose, this combination on the nose is actually, it's really nice. Now I'm wondering how it translates to the palate. Are we gonna get some of that chocolate and maybe some of the smoke from the blend on there? Let's give it a go. Actually, I am getting that a little bit, but it's still coming off very fruity to me. That part of it is really what's dominating the palate for me. You got the, you know, the honey, and you got some of the chocolate and smoke have, you know, come to the forefront a little bit. Not really getting that butterscotch a lot. Yeah, to me, this is leaning way more on the fruit side. I think batch 1 and the batch 4, the first two that we tried in the blends, are really what's taking over the palate here. You get some of that chocolate earthiness and you know, a lot of the honey more in the palate, but it's still a little bit more fruit forward to me. Let's go one last sip. We're gonna compare to the 111 to see how they compare. This is good. I mean, it's interesting because Chattanooga released their port finish, which is a, you know, typically finished, you know, port wine finished Chattanooga, but and as fruit forward as that was, this has more of a mix of fruit and then the chocolate and the oak and the smoke, and the Bottled & Bond to me is just a little bit more well-rounded. It's got little bits of all those blends I think that you're picking up. The only one I'm having a little trouble picking up, not getting a lot of the butterscotch one. The chocolate is pretty faint from the other blend. It's really fruit forward to me. You get the chocolate and the smoke on the very back end. 100 proof, it drinks nice, it drinks easy. This is, if you're a fan of the Chattanooga profile, this might be, you know, a big winner for you guys. All right, let's compare it to the 111 so we can really give a good comparison here. All right, so now we have the Chattanooga Whiskey 111 cask, which is 111 proof, but this to me is kind of like the quintessential you know, flavor profile of Chattanooga whiskey, which I really love, that high malt. So let's see how it compares with the tasting notes in the bottle and bond. So let's go to the 111. Yeah, so the 111 to me is more malt forward. That Tennessee high malt really comes through. A ton of honey, chocolate, burnt toast, a little bit of lemon zest there, definitely some pepper, and some nice sweet toasted oak. Now you compare it to the bottle and bond. God, the bottle and bond is just on a whole nother level with like the fruit. Just the whole like punch of, I'm telling you, I get this really nice sweet cranberry note in there. It's got like a tang or like a, almost like a sourness to it, but in like a really good way. Man, could make like a sick like Christmas punch with that. Not that I would want to make a punch out of this, but I'm just saying it would probably go really well. The cranberry, the cinnamon, again, you get a little bit of that smoke, but I think you get it more on the palate. All right, let's sip the 111. Wow, so the 111, I get more of the honey and butterscotch on this one, which is why I love it so much. The oak, hint of chocolate. It's vastly different than the bottle and bond. Yeah, the chocolate and the smoke hit you on the back end. I think from a comparison standpoint, the Chattanooga 111 is more of a direct experience. You get more of the direct notes that you're looking for in a Chattanooga. The toasted oak and like I said, a lot of honey, the caramel, a little bit of that chocolate, just a lot of rich flavors that you're used to from Chattanooga. The bottle and bond is just like a whole different experience. This has those notes in it, but is really elevated by these fruit, chocolate, smoky characteristics all together. It's a little bit of a lower proof. This is 111, we're looking at 100 proof here. I think this drink's a little bit easier, but it has like I said, it has like this finished whiskey, you know, type of profile to it. Yeah, it's good. I think the more you sip it, a little bit more of the chocolate and the smoke starts coming out. While, you know, it doesn't have the punch that the 111 does, this has a lot more nuanced flavors that I think a lot of people enjoy. So let's go to the final breakdown. All right, so for the final breakdown, we have $50 is the price point, which is not a bad price from a newer distillery. Secondary market value, I haven't really seen these on secondary yet at all, so that's TBD if that actually happens. Availability, so like I said, it's available on sealbox.com right now. Chattanooga's distribution is getting better, you know, year to year, month to month. So just, you know, if it's in your area, Chattanooga is available here in Ohio, so I would expect this to, you know, drop pretty soon. But if you have Chattanooga near you, or if you don't, you know, you can always go to sealbox.com and maybe grab one there. When it comes to value, I think the value here is even. I think $50 is a great price for what you get in the bottle. It's 100 proof. You are getting some different blends of some different vintages and, you know, mash bills that they've put together. Remember, it's at least 4 years old, so you have some, you know, a decent age from a newer distillery as well. So value even. So what's the most I would pay for this? I'd say 50 bucks. I wouldn't go higher than that. I think 50 bucks is a perfect price for this. It's only 100 proof, so the proof point's not going to blow you away. But there is a lot of nuance to it, and I think it's unique enough that I would, you know, want to, you know, pay the $50 for it, and not go any higher than that. So do I recommend this one? This one's tricky because it's a very unique type of flavor profile. You have the Tennessee high malt that's there. So if you're a Chattanooga fan, definitely grab one because it's really unique, and I think it's a little bit different than everything else that we've tried from Chattanooga. If you're not used to the high malt, you don't like the high malt type of mash bill, probably a no on this one, or maybe even a try before you buy. It's got that high malt characteristic, but there's such a influx of fruit flavors, and like I said, the cranberry, the cinnamon, the spice, a little bit of chocolate and smoke on the palate as well, that if you haven't had that yet, you might want to try that. This does not come off like a typical Kentucky bourbon, but like I said, if you are a Chattanooga fan and all of those flavors that they're combining to create this, you know, is intriguing to you, I do not think you'll be disappointed. It's a great blend. It's very unique, and just for being unique, I think it's worth the pickup, especially at only 50 bucks. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this review for the brand new Chattanooga Bottled & Bond Spring 2017 Vintage Series. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the subscribe button below. Please hit the like button. If you haven't yet, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter. Let me know if you've got your hands on one of these, what you think about it. Did you pick up all those crazy fruit flavors? Did it seem like it was like a finished whiskey to you, like finished in like a wine barrel or something? Always love hearing what you say, and as I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with. So cheers, I'll see you next time right here on The Mash and Drum. Take care, everybody.